Could you survive 10 hours on a single layer of bedrock? No villages, no dirt, nothing but 3 distant structures. So the first thing I would need to do is travel over 1,000 blocks, the only place I could get any items. This is my world for the next 10 hours, and I started by doing the only thing I could, running. But I may have ran into a problem. I had lost all my hunger. But no matter the cost, I would need to reach a stronghold, as it'd be the only way I could go from this to this. Luckily for me though, all the strongholds have the same location on this type of Superflat. However, you may be wondering, how do I get up to this structure with it being over 70 blocks in the air and me not having any items in my inventory? But I was able to swim up using just the water from the fountain. Yet there was still one thing I needed to do, and it would force me to travel thousands of meters and waste hours. All because I was 1 block away from this. You see, before I can get any items, I'd need to get off this fountain to get to a more useful part of the stronghold, like the library or a chest. But I had nowhere to go, so my only option was to reset. Slowly walking to stronghold 2, trying not to use any hunger bars. But there was still one thing saving me during the night, and that was the fact mobs don't naturally spawn on bedrock. So I was safe to just wander towards stronghold 2. But this fact would hurt me later on. By the time I reached it, the night was almost over, but this didn't stop me getting attacked by mobs when I was climbing up the stronghold. Yet my pursuit of getting items and blocks to help reach my end goal for these 10 hours of beating Minecraft continued. So I had to go to stronghold 3 after being unable to make any progress in the previous strongholds. Luckily for me though, this stronghold had an extra fountain, giving me double the chance of reaching the loot I needed. And after trying to plan the route from the ground, I decided to just go for it. Swimming up, and whilst using a door, I was able to jump to a chest. Although it had nothing useful in it, the most valuable thing was the chest itself, giving me an extra stepping stone for parkour. But I was able to reach the 2nd and 3rd chest by just mining my way through each island, allowing me to get a piece of armor, a sword, and much more, before going back to the previous stronghold, where I managed to get to previously unreachable places, getting blocks like oak planks and cobblestone, crafting them into tools and other useful items. And by the time I got back, a few mobs had spawned where I'd placed a few blocks earlier. But this led me to realise I could build a mini mob farm, which would allow me to get rotten flesh for food and a whole bunch of other items, as I was still currently starving. But it wasn't very successful, despite me using every block I had to construct it. And I decided just to wait for the night to end, as I couldn't go up to the stronghold whilst the mobs were still up there. But I still had one main goal for these 10 hours, and that was to beat the game. So I began collecting lava for my nether portal and built an infinite water source to create obsidian. Yet the progress was slow. I could only collect lava in the day with my single bucket. And in the night I killed mobs for food, not being able to risk anything as I was only on 2 hearts, and the slightest mistake could cause me to go all the way back to spawn, thousands of blocks away. This continued for days on end, as I wanted my health to be back up to full before I went into the nether. But I still decided to build this weird looking structure to build my nether portal out of. And after hours of gameplay, I had finally built the frame for the nether portal. I just needed a way to light it. I tried a few different ways, which forced me to go back to the previous stronghold for lava. But it finally worked, and I was in the nether after about 6 hours of work. I immediately started collecting gold in the nether, as it'd be the only way I could get ender pearls, as I don't think my failing mob farm could get enough eyes of ender to match my demand. So I continued mining, eventually reaching a more open part of the nether, but it was also a bit more dangerous than I was hoping, forcing me to retreat with just 2 hunger bars remaining. I created a cobblestone generator for blocks and decided to make a return to the underworld, whilst mining for more gold in my hopes of bartering with piglins. But I died to a ghast, and I was back at square one, as going back for all my items wasn't exactly easy, as I fought my way through mobs, until I'd mined enough gold to reach 8 ender pearls. But I'd mined almost all the gold in the area around the portal, and after looking for a stronghold, I decided to start bridging over the massive lava lake. And once I'd made it to the other side, a bastion was right next to me. But I probably shouldn't have gone into the structure before I had a full set of armor, so it didn't end very well. And once I got back to the underworld again, I went searching for a nether fortress, hopefully for the last time. And after going through multiple biomes, I'd found it. But I couldn't really fight, with no hunger bars and just 3 health. So I just hid, trying to escape from some blades that followed me. Deciding to farm pigment for rotten flesh as well as gold, bartering for ender pearls. But I ended up getting fire resistant potions, giving me the confidence to go back to the nether fortress, which I had died out about 10 minutes earlier. Now I was able to kill multiple blades, reaching 6 rods to get 12 eyes of ender. I still needed 4 more ender pearls though, so I went into the warped forest and killed the enderman. And once I got back to the overworld, I waited for the night to end, avoiding the mobs spawning in the stronghold. I created a portal after 9 hours of work. Despite still not having a chest plate nor leggings, I jumped into the end, destroying crystals, waiting for the ender dragon to perch. And despite having 1.5 hearts of health, I finished the ender dragon off and survived 10 hours on a single layer of bedrock. If you like this video, you should watch the next one on screen, where I beat Minecraft with just 1 tree.